We're right here in Chicago, Illinois. And so we awaited very, very, very powerful message from our leader teaching guide today, Brother Minister Raheem. He's going to be teaching us today on They All Lived. Now, I don't want you to think this is some sci-fi picture or some sci-fi motion picture. No, this is about Christ and how there are multiple Christs that live throughout time. So put your thinking caps on, brothers and sisters, and welcome to the stage our leader, our teacher, and our guide, Brother Minister Raheem Kasir. Put your hands together.
Attention. Present arms. Order arms. Original salute.
Black power.
Original salute.
Black power.
Original salute.
Black power.
All right. Thought I'd be as real as I possibly can. I start now taking my lecture out instead of having it already out. Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
How's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Well, doing well. Well, I'd like to start off with our opening, which goes as follows. In the name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, he who directs the sonships of millions and trillions of years, he who made time, the seat of the universe. He's known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amun-Ra and Aten, among the Hebrews as Ansof, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah, Rastafari. I bear witness that all of those names refer to the same one, Almighty God. And it is to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we are those children of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, and that we are that lost 13th tribe, born right here in North America, and that we are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the earth flow through our veins. I greet you all in the ancient but yet holy words of peace, in the languages of our fathers of Hotep,
Hotep.
Shalom,
Shalom alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum,
Alaikum salam, sir.
Baragani,
Remosante Habargani.
Alafia,
Alafia Duque.
and Ashe.
Ashe.
All greeting words and salutations of peace in the many different languages of our fathers. I greet you in peace.
Peace.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the TOMA Nation, also known as the Temple of Mercy Association. We're broadcasting live today, Sunday, I believe it to be the 18th of February,
Yes.
Black History Month.
Yes.
And we're broadcasting from the Bob Business Center, located at 644 East on 79th Street in Chicago, Illinois. Welcome, Facebook family, and we're asking you to round up your family and get together and share this video that's being broadcast live again. Hopefully that if you've looked at lectures in the past, that you would begin to recognize that the message in the lecture is pretty timely. It's more of a lecture that address times like these, in this day and time. It more so addresses the why and what goes on in the world. Such as, you might want to ask, why would a person go into an elementary school and shoot all these children and the administration, then why, you might want to ask? Is it a situation where if any type of situation went down like that and it was a black man involved, why doesn't he live to tell it? But most of the Caucasian people who do mass murdering, why, you might ask, is it not known or described as an act of terrorism?
They never do.
Because when I looked on the video that was posted on Facebook, I saw the true definition of terror. Those children were being terrorized. But I have yet to see in the media that they would call that particular incident an act of terrorism. Why is it? You would ask why. See, most of my lectures is the type of lectures that the Creator gives me or work through me that answers why. You might ask the question, why? When Caucasians do something that crazy like shoot up people in Las Vegas from a hotel room, that it's defined as a man with a mental illness. But when it's a black man, see, a lot of times, when you look at our elections, they are so raw. I have to be honest, I'm not bragging, I'm saying this for a reason. They're so raw that every time we show this type of dynamic, it makes you feel a little uneasy, but yet you should not continue to live a life denying the truth. Denying the fact that this is actually going on in 2018. You would think that with the turn of the 20th century to the 21st century, that well off into 17 years or 18 years into this 21st century, that black people in America should be able to recognize some form of change based on how we're defined.
Yes, sir.
Not just by media per se, but by almost every ethnic group on the planet. How they define us. And then black America, I do have to say this. We ain't making it no better form. And some of their defining principles based on how we act toward one another and how it's being perpetrated in the media based on us killing off each other. Not in the school, but in every day-to-day living, walking up and down the street, going to and fro, back and forth, going where we have to go. So we leave out our house and basically don't know if we'll make it back home without a bullet in us. So we got to look at that too. We got to look at that dynamic. You know, sometimes we help in the description of us as a people. Now, I'm saying all this because, you know, during this month in the Temple of Mercy Association, during Black History Month, we have a book, or maybe actually 3 books that we study from. And that book is called Now Valley Civilization by Anthony Browder. And then we have another book called The Hosea that was Kemetic scripture translated by Dr. Maulana Karenga, the founder of Black History Month. Actually, excuse me, Kwanzaa. My bad. And we have another book called The Stolen Legacy, George G.M. James. These 3 books talks about scripture. It talks about morality. It talks about our history before we got here. It talks about, when I say morality, in the Bible it mentions a beatitude. And then in the Old Testament it talks about the 10 Commandments. And in the Kemetic teachings, it talks about the principles of ma'at, of harmony and justice, unity. Those principles of morality. Now, in all that I said, most times we have all of these different factions in Black America that debate and argue with one another about which or what part of scripture, and I'll say that in general, is true. And who's the author? And where did it come from? And he stole this from that person, and she stole from that one, and that author stole from that one. And when it comes down to it, it's like somebody will say, well, Brother Minister, why do you read the scripture from the Bible? Why do you read the scripture from the Holy Quran where you found out that all that stuff is stolen from ancient Kemet? And then somebody else will come along and say, why are you all in the ancient Kemet? It was stuff before then. You know, what about the Sanskrit stuff? You know, all kind, you know, that's how we are. And then when it's all over, and we're living day to day and looking at how we treat one another, we don't seem to want to come to the conclusion that just pick one because they all represent moral, righteous conduct and how we should conduct ourselves to be a civilized people. Pick one and let's live.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that make sense?
Thank you.
Because they all deal with moral, righteous conduct. I don't care who gave it to us. Do it matter? The question is, do it work? Have you tried it? I don't see nothing wrong with thou shalt not steal.
Thank you.
And then when you go into the mod principle and say, I have not stolen anything, it's like an affirmation then, right?
Right.
One is a command, the other one is an affirmation. But yet it's still the basic principle of stealing. So in our essence, we're saying to take something that does not belong to you, to take something that's somebody else's property, and you know it's somebody else's property, and you did not ask for it, and you took it, and they don't know where it's at, you stole it. That's a thief. Mm-hmm. Or you forcibly took it off of a person by force. Mm-hmm. And it's not yours. That's a thief. Mm-hmm. So now one says, thou shalt not steal. The other one says, I have not stolen. Now, the difference is, thou shalt not steal is trying to tell you, because there was some stealing around, and it's causing people to shoot, hurt each other because of property being taken from them that is not lawfully that person who took it. You're causing all kind of stuff to happen in our community. And the second one is a judgment. That's the only, so I can show you the difference. But it don't matter the difference. The only thing you need to know about the difference is why that difference. See, one is saying, don't you dare do that. The other one is saying, I ain't stolen nothing, as if they in court. Let me get some water if I can. So what's happening is this. Dealing with the principles of ma'at is equivalent to Judgment Day. And Judgment Day in Kemet was a time when the individual, thank you, Minister Omari, thank you, Sister Evelyn, was the time when any individual who died, they left this realm. And when they left this realm, they went into a place that in the Bible is depicted as hell. But in actuality, it's heaven. Mm-hmm. And I'll break that down one day. I don't believe I might have that time because that'll get away from my subject. And everything that they did was weighed to determine, would you stay in heaven or go back to earth? Would you stay in peace and in bliss and in harmony, or will you go into a hellish-like state of existence and struggle again? And so they put your heart, symbolically speaking, on a scale. And on the other side of the scale is a feather. And if your heart was full of hell, it's going to dip, and that feather going to probably fly out the thing. But if you've been all right, then it should either balance out or even weigh a little lighter than the feather, if you've been doing what you're supposed to do. So how do you determine that? Well, here's what has to happen. That person who's being judged got to stand before I forgot what they called the guy, but it's like God, but he was Usa at the time, Osiris. And they would have to read it or recite it. And I have not stolen. I have not committed adultery. I have not. It's like a lie detector test. And if it ain't moving, you good. But as it, you mess up, it starts to weighing heavy. And when it's all over, it lets you know that's your judgment. You said you haven't done it, but you lied right there because the scale said different. So one is judgment day, and one is a warning to keep you from having to suffer that judgment. So it says, you should not steal. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You should not kill. It's with them too. But now what's the problem in the so-called conscious community? We found this out and saw it, and we found out that the Bible was thousands of years later basically saying the same thing. So now we come to a conclusion because we fighting in our community over our religious understanding. He stole that from Kim or Kemet. That's been stolen. What's his name? King James is this and thus, and so the Bible has been tampered with. We even found out that the Holy Quran has been tampered with, brothers and sisters.
Surprise.
Now, the fact, when you look at this whole world, basically, I don't hardly know if it's too many things that ain't been tampered with. Including you.
Amen.
If you go in the store and take something off the shelf and look at it and put it back, it's been what? Tampered with. So what's the problem? See, that's the title of this lecture. They all lived. You will go and find out some other people before Yahshua Christ with the same attributes, doing the same stuff that he did for their people during that day and time. But would you want to turn around and say they stole it? In this movement, the Temple of Mercy Association, we believe in the oneness of God. In the Temple of Mercy Association, we believe in unity, coming together for the sole purpose of uniting our people under common causes, not Bopsy twinism. We know we don't want everybody walking around here dressed like me, with their hair cut, and everybody just everything is alike. That's a form of unity, but brothers and sisters, I have to be honest with you, it's also a form of sanity, insanity, brother. So that's not the unity. The unity is not that you drop your flag or drop your philosophy or any of your stuff. It's about knowing when and where. When you're coming into a unity type of a meeting, or even if you want to call it, if all your organizations, you want to call yourself nations, let's say we come to a United Nations meeting. Well, when you come to it, if the subject is unity, that means your bylaws and constitution should remain outside the door. That's what that means. Your philosophy and what you stand for should remain outside the door. Now when you sit at the table, you're not coming in to try to defend your philosophy. You're not coming in to try to defend whatever your doctrine is. You're coming in because on the sheet it says police brutality. If that's something for everybody to discuss and talk about, come right on in. If it's not your meeting, go. Don't come in here and try to tell us nationality is the order of the day. We don't care. This is about police brutality who don't care about nationality. Who just destroying us at will. The subject today, brothers and sisters, no matter what your religion is, all we're saying is all of our brothers and sisters that ever came or lived on this planet, we're saying they all lived. Let me give you an example of what I mean. There's a book out, and it's called, I only know the last word, Gilgamesh. Maybe somebody remember the whole title. Something of Gilgamesh. But my point in that is in that book, it talks about a flood. Talks about a deluge, they call it. And there was a person in that story who warned the people, and they didn't listen, and he saved himself and his family and a lot of animals and insects and things like that. But brothers and sisters, the story was thousands of years before Noah. The information was found in a whole nother geographical location than where they say the situation happened with Noah. Now a person picked it up and run with it and say, I found something. That Bible story y'all talking about Noah, it was stolen.
If it couldn't happen again, right?
Right. I mean, was this the only snowstorm this year, bro? That broke records? But anyway, y'all got my point, right? But we caught up. And that's what further divides us, because we find something we want to run and cancel out the other and say, this must be the real truth. No, they lived too. Noah lived too. Buddha lived. Yahshua lived. All of them lived. They lived. You wasn't around maybe, but they lived. And in order to remain unified as a people in the spirit of unity, we must understand that they lived. Now I'm going to read something, and I'm praying, I'm going to go backwards a little bit, that you might want to understand what I'm saying. And I say it that way because a lot of people are going to feel kind of, well, I ain't going to even say it. Some kind of way. I like that. But in this movement, we quote the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we quote the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, we quote the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we quote the Honorable Minister Raheem Kassir Aten, we quote, how about that? We quote. And it's not because we're afraid we're stealing something. We quote because we know that there is no author of truth, but we quote to give credit that maybe somebody said it before we did. That's the only reason we do it. Because I ain't got time to be talking about somebody stole something. You can't steal truth. Matter of fact, if you stole truth, you can't even hide it. I'll get to that later. So in quoting Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we believe Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the Christ of the 20th century. I'll say that again. I know some of y'all might want to say, well, you mean, what about the 21st? I'll say what I said again, and you can just look for me and we'll talk about that other part. But I'm saying that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the Christ of the 20th century. Yes, I said it. And I know that Noble Ali was doing his thing before then. I know that the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey was doing his thing before then. I know that Nat Turner, and you just keep going and going and going. A lot of those people did something before Elijah Muhammad. But I know that he's that major prophet of that day and time because there was no others like that or like him that was able to just truthfully, outright, blatantly, bluntly say this white man, this blue-eyed devil, is diametrically opposed to us. And that his entire existence is to give us hell. Now, during that time, in the 30s and the 40s, who you know was that boy? Sorry, not even Marcus. Marcus said a lot of stuff. But he didn't straight out call this man a blue-eyed devil. Now, moving right along with that, he devised a system. All right? Knowing that black people was in a religion that had us basically, you know, a lot of people don't believe it, but had us basically enslaved mentally. Enslaved to the teachings of the Caucasian that turn the other cheek, meaning if the white man hit you on one side, you turn to him the other side. Obey your slave master. And using the Bible to say that. Well, somebody had to oppose the Bible. So not only was he an enemy to the white man, he became an enemy to the Christian world. And black Christians was against him because he had to oppose the book that was enslaving us at that time. Then he had to give us another religion. And the religion that was chosen, see, there are two major religions. Major. The others are not major, they're minor. The two major religions in this world is what, y'all tell me?
Islam
and
Christianity.
Islam and Christianity. So we were already over here being Christians because most of our family that came over here were already under Islam. I don't know if you all knew that. They were already saying Assalamu alaikum. But it was a little something with the Islam, believe it or not, which is the reason why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to actually make another form of Islamism, so to speak, that we had to go by, that would break us out of the shackles of being afraid to look the white man in the eye, being afraid to walk on the same side of the street with him, being afraid to laugh in front of him, being afraid to go into any bathroom you want to go in and use because you have to use the bathroom. Being afraid to sit down on the main floor in a theater because they got it marked off for us to be upstairs. He put something in place from a religious perspective that allowed us to stand up, be strong, stand tall with our chest out, and begin to protect our sisters from the white man and stop letting the white man make us look bad in front of our sisters. If we wouldn't have gotten what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought to us, you see our condition today, where they subliminally working hard to effeminize the black man. Well, take out that element that Honorable Elijah Muhammad added back then, and then come up to date and look at how they got our men now. Times that by 20.
Castrated.
And you would see a bunch of nuded men. I said nuded. The Bible called them what they call them?
Eunuchs.
Eunuchs.
Yeah, eunuchs, yeah.
The village of eunuchs. That's what we would be. The white man's pet. Still being beat down. Still begging for this and that. We had to have a separation. We had to have a group of people to resist. And then we had to have another group that say, well, maybe we can get along. Maybe we can work hand in hand. Maybe we can walk together. Maybe we can do this and that together. So you got both sides, right? So what had happened was this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad at that time said, the white man is the devil. And he was talking and he was saying, we don't use weapons, but if you hit us, we going to hit you back. And then he said, he is the blue-eyed devil and he do not love us. And then Martin Luther King didn't want to agree with it, but he went against what the white man was saying. And then when they showed it on TV, the white man beating them down, dogs biting off the women's breasts and hitting them with sticks and putting water on them and all, and throwing pies in their face at the restaurant and beating them down in the restaurant. So we came to the conclusion in the Temple of Mercy Association that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the white man is the devil. Martin Luther King showed us. Don't that make sense?
He showed us. Yep.
He showed you and I that this was a devil. And the question was, who only then a devil would do the things that you see them doing to us on television? But a devil. Who? Showing you how God himself placed that dynamic there. Without it, we wouldn't be where we are. Those resistors wouldn't still be standing strong. Those resistors would not be believing we could win. We wouldn't believe we could win by now. Hell, I have to be honest, I don't want to beat it up too bad, but if we would have been dependent on the civil rights movement, we'd be through. Who took Martin Luther King's philosophy beyond where he left it?
Nobody.
And who took the teachings that he said when he said, oh my God, I believe that I'm integrating black people into a burning house?
Nobody.
Who took that information, broke it down to see why he said it, and then do something about it? So the Nation of Islam still exists today as that pillar in our community that we can pull up from to remind us that it's still happening. It's still there. Now, the Temple of Mercy Association, we were charged with the duty of working inside of our community, saying, put aside your religious difference, put aside your philosophical difference, and come to the table to unite on some things that we all share in common. And I said a couple of them. But not only police brutality and gun violence. There's so many things going on that we are involved in, either against our will or unknowingly, or knowingly, and just we decided to go along with it to get along. Every year, our political climate, it starts, and the same handkerchief-head Negroes come out of the woodwork to do the same stuff handkerchief-head people do, which is sell out.
Yes, sir.
Why do I say it? I know they got some taxes, that's ours. They got some funds, that's ours, and we pay tax, all that crap. Yes, 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 yes. Again, I will say, until we form an independent political party and form our own political action committee and raise up and train up people in the ways of this political system and run them for office, back them up, then you sell it out no matter what you sitting down at the table trying to negotiate for our people. It don't matter what it is. Don't matter. Ain't no other way to go if you're going to be in politics. What kind of people who still keep on depending on some people who failed us? 2 doggone parties failed us continuously. The Democrats and the Republicans both failed us, are failing us. But we keep coming back like nothing ever happened. Like an abusive husband to a wife who keep coming back. Just to be abused again after it's over.
They say you got to get away.
But you don't want to break away. You don't want to come out of it. And so I know that what I'm laying down as to what and who the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is to us in this day and time, Whether you like it or not, I am not a registered Muslim with the Nation of Islam. And I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm saying you don't have to be that to know the truth.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to be registered in that movement and going by what all its doctrine is to take some of the truth from a truth giver. You didn't have to be a Christian to take any truth from Martin Luther King. You didn't have to be a member of his church. Because the books that are out, when you read some of his quotes, in the quotes of truth, they go beyond his religion. And the quotes of truth that Honorable Elijah Muhammad spoke on went beyond his religion. And so I'm saying, if you open to information that was given to the black man by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, your brain capacity would be expanded to receive more information and begin to put it in the right space of time. In other words, I'm saying you will come out of the time capsule that the Caucasian put us in so that we, in his mind, could be equal to him or even less than, but never better than. So they put us in a time capsule that he is comfortable in, that he will let us exist in when it comes to education, when it comes to politics, when it comes to anything that we deal with religion. He has this time capsule that he placed us in. And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad put something in place that will break us out of that time capsule, expand our consciousness in our mind to receive the fullness of our time being here on this planet, which is 66 trillion years.
That's right.
We have the brain capacity to hold that, to receive that, to walk in that, to be a part of it. And right away, brothers and sisters, if we knew that formula and can use that formula to expand our consciousness, you will be surprised at how helpless this Caucasian would be in all the stuff that he's doing to us. We won't even be in his league.
He won't be in ours.
He won't be in our league. Right now, here's equality to the white man. You got a 6'10" person in the house with a ceiling that's 5'3". And you got a white man in there with him, and he's only 5 feet. So now y'all in the house, because the 6'10" person, not knowing he could go somewhere else to show his full self, had to learn how to adjust being in that room that had a ceiling at 5'3", hanging out with somebody 5 feet, and he's 16. So he sat down with his back bent and played chess and won. He sat with his back bent and played basketball and won. He sat around with his back bent and took care of everything and did better than the white cracker that was inside the house. And the white cracker was amazed. How is he whooping me in this condition?
Bent over.
And so that's what amazes this person. But now giving us a house with a high ceiling, 10 feet high, and we 6 something, operating under the same conditions, with the same 5'3" white man, we would surpass him. If we whooping him now at that state, we would surpass him. And he knows this. This is why he can't let a person who actually is a mathematical genius called Michael Jordan, can't let him excel in his genius beyond his basketball.
You got to keep him in a gym shoe.
Yeah, keep him in his gym shoes. Keep him in his drawers. Keep him in his underwear. See? So here's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad who put this recipe, this thing. I don't have my clock, so okay, I'm good. I got a clock behind me. So it says, you've got to have black power. You've got to have black power. The power to define. The power to develop. The power to defend. that which is in the best interest of black people. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the earth is 66 trillion years old. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the sun is 72 trillion years old. He also said that the whole entire universe is 76 trillion years old. Now, how old is the black man? What's the question? Since everybody digging up all this stuff and finding us and continuing to find more about us, and it keeps going back, and the white man can only think in the millions, he can talk in the billions, but he cannot even see in the trillions. So at 1 trillion, he go blank. So if we've been here 66 trillion and he go blank at 1 trillion, you can see how in the dark he would be if we expand our consciousness. Do you understand what I'm saying? The black man came with the earth. With the earth. You understand the difference? Not he came and then you was created. No, the black man came with the earth. So you cannot find a birth record of the black man and woman. You're not going to find one. I don't care how much you dig. And you digging in the wrong places to find the white man. Honest to God, in his teachings, has been proven to be true. The white man is not native to no part of this planet. You will not find his origin. His origin is not even the Caucasus Mountains. That's where he was driven. I ain't being racist. See, I told you. Sometimes you're going to listen to me and it's going to sound like that, but it's not. It was set up like that. You see, there's this deceptive intelligence that they placed us under, make it every time a black man try to break out of that kind of an understanding, he seems to be racist. But the Caucasian is native to no part of this planet. Not one part. So you can't find his beginning. You could find where he was driven. You could go over the Caucasus Mountain and find bones. You can go wherever else he's been and find bones. Europe ain't even his native land. No. The Nordics and living in the mountains wasn't where he was born. The white man came from us. Came from us. We'll go into that. So now, if we've been here 66 trillion years, and all your history books tell you about artifacts and different monuments in Kemet and all over the world to be millions of years old, you hardly ever hear them say something that was found was billions of years old. You'll hear them go out in space and say something was billions of years old, right? They'll go out there and say that. They'll point out in space and say something is billion years old. But most of our artifacts and monuments and stuff that's dug up by archaeologists and all, it stays in a little capsule of millions of years. So a person would rather believe that the earth was desolate up until maybe the beginning of the millionth year. And then all things start happening. Wasn't nothing happening. That's what the white man wants you to believe. And that's why all this knowledge is crammed up into one. They did this. The story of Moses and the story of Musa. It's the same story, but two different people. The story of Jacob in the Bible and Yaakov, they try to make you believe that it's the same thing, the same person. They're two different people. The story of the gods and Yaakov being one of the gods, they were on the earth before in the beginning. Jacob was later, much later. And all the stuff that was happening with the gods on the planet before the earth was inhabited by humans were a lot of confusion and chaos and arguing about how we were going to do this and that, how we was going to make this man and this plant and that, whatever. They could not come to a conclusion. Even to the fact that one of the gods tried to blow the planet up. Tried to blow it up. And then eventually, and I'll give that story later, eventually there was a nuclear bomb that destroyed all life and vegetation on the earth. The gods escaped. And then, for the lack of time, another group came to the planet, and their job was to repopulate it. And that's where in the beginning started. Right then and there. But Yaqub and all these other gods that everybody talk about, that wasn't during this time. So we've been here 66 trillion years. Those beings that inhabited this planet were black.
Yes, sir.
The beings in every realm, the beings in every dimension, the beings on every level of understanding or vibration, those in power are black. Except where? On earth. On earth. Now there are planets of nothing but Caucasians. And they in power. But I'm speaking of the different realms of different vibrations that we live in, different, what they call them, 7 levels. It's ruled by blacks. And mostly every religion, when they continue to research that, that's what they discover. And in their discovery, they turn around and cover it up and hide it because they don't want you to know who you really are and your position on this planet and what our potential is. So our potential is greater than even what we speak of. Our potential is greater than anything that was ever written about us of good. Our potential transcends the deepest of spirituality and spiritual teaching. Our race, our people, who we are in North America, and the power that is lying dormant in us, that's not being triggered because we're being dumbed down, numbed down, N-U-M-B-E-D, by TV, by social media, by music, by the teachings in the public schools, by the teachings in the college, by anyone outside of our race that other blacks had to go sit down in front of and learn their way. All of them, and I'll read it so you can understand where I'm coming from. All of them come to conclusions by way or via the mindset of white people. Now, Elijah Muhammad was taking that away, was removing that stigma, was removing that understanding. He wasn't telling you not to go to school, he was telling you how to go to school. He said, if you're going to go, understand that those people aren't teaching you anything. They're reminding you of who you are. Understand your relationship to math. Understand your relationship to trigonometry. Understand your relationship to all the 7 arts and sciences and the oneness of it. You don't know? He said, well, we'll teach you. Black people trained and taught by white people in their schools, using their curriculum, will do the same thing when learning, when studying, when making decisions, and when coming to conclusions. Don't they teach you how to come to conclusions in school? Yes. I'm sure they do. Don't they teach you how to make what they consider sound decisions in life? Yes. By giving you certain problems, giving you certain things to do so you can learn how to study, so you can learn how to find facts, so you can learn how to put them down and write them down in a certain order, a certain way, a certain pattern, that they tell you either yes, you passed because you did it exactly like they told you, or no, you failed, even though you came to the same conclusion, it's still wrong. because it's not the way they told you to do it. So what am I saying? I'm saying black historians. I'm saying black researchers, black scientists, black archaeologists can't expand the capacity of their brain to perceive trillions of years because they are in the same time warp that the Caucasian is in as a result of this. I'm saying that the dates and times given to Kemetic dynasties, the dates and times given to pyramids and Ticans and all of those different artifacts and symbol things that we made, when they dig up all these different texts with all the different writings and whatnot, and they want to determine how long it's been there. I'm saying that the person who came to the conclusion that Lucy was X amount of millions of years old, I'm saying that whatever the dates and times that they put on it, if they don't start with at least 1 million, scratch, 1 trillion, then you far away from the truth. You far away from the truth. Why? Because most of our black archaeologists, most of our black historians, most of our black Egyptologists have degrees from the same people that put us in this condition. Why would somebody who put us in this condition truly want to train and teach us how to come out? I'm benefiting from, I'm a white man, right? And I'm benefiting from your condition. And you gonna trust me to train you how to come out of a condition that evidently is lining my pockets pretty good. Y'all understand what I'm saying? This is logic. But I want to fool you. Look, if what I'm saying is not true, then why is historically black colleges failing? Answer me that. They're failing because they don't want to give us the funding to get the right up-to-date books and curriculum and all the things that will really make us a free people in the 21st century. They want to keep our mindset frozen in the 18th, 19th, and 20th century with those old books. The landscape of the whole planet has been changed many times over with tsunamis and earthquakes and whatnot. Many times over, the whole landscape has changed, but our children don't have updated geography books. You know I'm not lying. Now go to the white schools and check what I said. And if it ain't a book, and you say, well, Brother Minister, they ain't in books no more. It's updated on the computer. All right. Take one of our computers out of our school and go over to the white school and put that computer next to that one. I promise you'll get a different result. We probably still got the fatback computers.
Humpback.
Humpback computers. And they got the flat screen computers. We either got those or none. No computers. I'm trying to tell you, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said do for self, that's our only solution. Come out of her and do for self is our only solution. Dr. Webb Evans, a great, great black man. Mr. by Black, they call him. He kept saying, let's stop celebrating black history. We need to be in the understanding of how can we make black history. But we're never going to make black history continuing to repeat it. If during this month there's anything in black history that you read about from a negative level of oppression sound today in 2018 the same as it did back then you on the wrong path. If we gonna make it, you're on the wrong path. Making black history is to show this Caucasian that we can operate independent of them, if they will get out the way and let us have the same opportunity as they have and anybody else to do what we can do to get our farmland to produce for us. Get out of our way and let them and their people use Monsanto products and let us get our fruits and vegetables from the earth and use the seeds from it to reproduce. Stay out of our way. Feed your test tube babies. Feed your grafted individuals and let us feed our own. I know y'all don't like that. Y'all ain't like our sound. But it's the truth. The truth crushed to the earth shall rise again.
That's right.
God is trying to, through me, help you to rise up. When the Jews talk about the Holocaust, you can't go nowhere in America and say, my God, it's still happening to them. Now transport it back to us. And then all the laws that got put in place, crow versus bird, bird versus pelican. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Jim Crow and all these animals. We fought for all this stuff. So we can have a certain part in America that's supposed to, I'm saying it like that, that's supposed to allow us to be on equal footing with the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Nope.
Not saying supposed
It's
to.
supposed to be, yeah.
Based on all these negotiations, you mean? No. So it's supposed to be that way. Something seems to keep going wrong. The NAACP is still around. Mm-hmm. Just a naked, smaller version of itself. Fighting to stay alive while doing nothing. I'm just being honest. Look, you can eat, I'm sorry, if you don't like it, beat me up. But you can equate the NAACP with a couch potato. I'm talking about the whole organization. Sitting down. Just doing nothing. Eating popcorn and chips. Looking at TV and getting big. That's NAACP. I don't care what people say about the Nation of Islam. There would be a big void in the black community if the Nation of Islam don't continue after Minister Lewis fired. Until there is some other group who can rise up and take what they've done to the next level, then that's it. We through. We through. What am I saying? Well, brothers and sisters, show me who else got their own farmland. You'll show me a little land, I'm sure. Okay, now show me who got as much farmland as they have as black people. Then you can't do that. Then I say, show me our schools. Then you'll show me
White man's school.
what's his name? Over there, the one school.
Shabazz?
Huh? No. That's
You
alternatives.
talking about Baby Shabazz?
No. I'm talking about
Freedom.
Freedom Academy.
Oh, okay.
You would show me Freedom Academy. But then you would see that the Nation of Islam have University of Islams in more than just Chicago. Mm-hmm. So you don't see that amount. You don't see them where they made sure. Now, here's a part that we still have to do in white America because they ruled it. All right? In order for our people to get ahead on this planet while they're in power, that whatever school we get have to be accredited, don't it? Mm-hmm. So that the other folks can say, oh, come right on in. We done checked y'all out. Ain't that what it is? Mm-hmm. Now, unless we totally independently don't care about them because we're raising our own this, we have our own community, we have our own neighborhood, where when our children do go through our school, they can go and be employed at our places, they can open up more business and things like that, and live a lucrative, bountiful life. We would have to try to work on accreditation from still that white man. Well, what did John Elijah Muhammad say about that? Say, okay, we got farmland, but who got the doggone equipment? It's time for me to go, y'all. I'm going to close out. Give me about 5 minutes. Who got the equipment? Ain't nobody going to get no hoe and no all that other stuff and be out there doing what we did back in 1802 with an ox, plowing the field. No, we got to get it from them. Until we get somebody who know how to make them. So the point I'm trying to make, and I'm going to end it, we got to get on our job. We got to stop living in a world based on their statistics on who we are, how long we've been here, and how old our artifacts are. We got to stop that. Everything you see in the millions that's pointing to us as a people, and you see millions back, add a trillion to it. Add a trillion to it. We were here. If we came with the earth, that means it was some humans living on it. Or some beings that represent black beings and black consciousness and black understanding. They were here. We were here. And don't never forget it. And don't let nobody tell you anything different. Didn't nothing start at no million. Or whatever, 99.9 something, whatever the start of millions, it didn't start there. It started at 66 and counting, going down. Now, I hope I expanded your consciousness. I hope that through me, you got a better understanding that we're not supposed to throw something away or run away from that person because they was involved in a particular religion that is against your religion. We need to stop being against religion and be pro-truth. And then we'll go far. Even this year would be different for the black man and woman if we could just accept some of these things. Just look at some of my other videos on Facebook. Question me, text me, inbox me, or whatever. Ask me questions. Most of the stuff is going to be too deep for me to answer back, but if you put it in my message box, I'll answer you that way. But if I ask you for your number, don't be afraid. Don't be scared. I'll give you my number. Call me. I'm willing to share this information with you. I want to see our people free.
That's right.
God bless you. God keep you. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. I leave you as I greeted you. In the ancient but holy words of peace, in the languages of our Father, of peace, hotel, shalom, assalamu alaikum, Bargani, Lafia, and Ashe. Peace, brothers and sisters, till we meet again.
Peace.